good evening again. Welcome back to another episode of the Baseball Card Junkies podcast. Y'all know who I am. You know who Mike is. Y'all probably wondering who's that third guy in the bottom. Well, he's the special guest that we got lined up. It's Tony Reed. I'll let him introduce himself. He'll give you a quick little rundown of who he is, what he's about, and we'll go from there. All right. So, Tony, floor is all yours.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. First of all, I appreciate the time. I've spent about the better part of a decade working in a sports card shop in a small little town in Sunbury, Pennsylvania. I've spent 20 years covering sports for different magazines and outlets and publications. I covered mixed martial arts pretty heavily for about a decade. Interviewed all the top athletes, cover stories, magazines, traveled the country to events. So that was a wonderful experience. I kind of got a little burnt out by that. So I stepped back from that. And then after a little time off, I picked back up in the media piece of things by, working on interviewing legendary athletes for Beckett, Sports Collectors Daily, Digest, some SI.com stuff. So kind of been around those circles for a while now. I still really enjoy that. I'm in the shop 8 to 5 every day. Really enjoy that. And just kind of have a lot of sports in the life, and it could be a lot worse than that, I guess, right?
It definitely can be.
It definitely could be. You could work retail like me.
I was a retail manager at Walmart for about 7 years. Yes. Shout out store 2230 in State College, PA. Right?
There you go.
Yeah, you noticed I'm the only guy here not from Pennsylvania, fellas.
Oh.
But in the event, we're going to be blasting some questions to Tony. We'll pick his brain, get his perspective on where the hobby has gone from, where is it at now, what's it going to from a shop owner's perspective. If anybody in the chat has anything that you want to ask, I'll go ahead and throw the question up there for Tony. And from what he said, it's no holds barred. Feel free to ask whatever.
Ooh.
All right. So first thing is
he can decline, though. Trust me.
He can decline.
I'll do my very best.
He can decline. So first thing is, so what got you into the hobby and into the idea of, let me get into the LCS business?
The hobby, like back in the day?
Back in the day. Let's go from the beginning.
My dad was collecting sets, like all of our dads were back in the early 80s. So 83 tops is as far as my memory goes back. And my dad had them in the old classic blue binders. We had 83s. We had tops, Fleer, Donruss. So we had the Bogsquin, Sandbergs. We had all that. I remember 86, 87, 88 tops. And we started getting the factory sets, and they were going to be our retirement someday. We all bought into that. So
little did we know.
Yeah, for real. So that was kind of my introduction into the hobby. And I played sports all growing up. So it all kind of just blended together. It was all a big ball of fun, as a kid. So we did all that fun stuff. And I collected all the way up into my mid to late 20s. Had some personal things going on. I had to sell the collection, and ever since then, I've been trying to buy back everything I sold. So here we are. Yeah. And as far as the actual shop piece of things, like we had spoken a minute ago, I worked a lot of retail management, met a lot of great people, but the jobs themselves were not fun. Eventually, I was working for a local grocer, actually at their corporate office, and I walked in. Literally the LCS, the local card shop, and talked to Jason, the owner of the shop. And I'm like, dude, is there anything we can do? Literally, is there anything? So I had to kind of sell that idea to my lovely wife that, we'd be taking a little pay cut temporarily, but I really didn't think this other thing was where I wanted to be, just for the sheer happiness factor and, life piece of the thing. So long story short, I asked Jason, like, hey, is there anything? So he hired me on, very reasonable rate for him. And so 8 years later, we grew that business. It was like right beside, like it was a hole in the wall next to the subway in town. And now we moved it a block. It's a block down, but it's 5 times the size. Jason himself's actually opened a second location in the Outer Banks. So, things are going really well for us. So obviously we're 95% online. So that's a big piece of our puzzle, especially being in a small town. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, I guess, at this point, but we do have a huge brick and mortar store, and we do a ton of business in store, but yeah, it's a lot of online for us.
Okay, so you are a case study that you can mix business with pleasure.
I try. I
Okay.
try my best.
So what's a daily for you at the shop?
My daily is probably 4:30 to 5 a.m. I'll get up, grab the laptop after a few minutes, knock out whatever I'm working on writing wise, like freelance wise, do that. My daughter and I are out the door by about 7:30. I drop her off at school. I'm at the shop right at around 8, and we're there till 5 every day, and then we're coming home and doing the family stuff. But as far as the shop itself, we're shipping immediately. There's 3 of us there. Tyson and Felix are a huge help at the shop in a multitude of ways. The 3 of us are pretty much there full time every day. We're shipping 200 to 300 orders to start our day most days. So we're rolling, and it's a Matchbox car from here. It's a box of cards from this corner of the store. So we're literally, it might be 10 mini helmets, whatever it is. So we're going, and it's just a pretty steady flow all day of orders. So that's always paramount. Obviously, we're receiving throughout the day too. So that's just the receiving. It just is totally dependent on the day as far as how good or bad a day you're going to have. Today was a little rough. We had 67 boxes from UPS. We had about 18 more from FedEx. So it was a full day, to say the least. But yeah, we're pretty much out of there by 5. We get done what we need to get done. And as my buddy Felix says, tomorrow's another day. Obviously, we want to be on point and buttoned up and doing all the things we need to do. But we also have to keep in mind, bottom line, we're working at a toy store. Like we're not building rocket ships. We're not, doing brain surgery. We're not curing any diseases. We're doing something we all really enjoy, and we try and keep that in mind at all times too.
So do you have a link for your shop and your online store?
Oh, I could get that to you. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
I should be holding a business card up right now, right?
Yeah, there you go. Business card up. Everybody scan it.
Yeah. It's sportzonetoyscomics.com, sportzonetoyscomics.com. So yeah, we're there. We have probably 4,000 items listed on eBay right now. We're pushing 100,000 feedback. So it's awesome. It's pretty much a full-time gig just doing that. And we're on, speaking of that, we're on eBay, we're on Amazon, we're on Walmart.
Wow.
We recently got on Target. So we're on all the platforms, but eBay is kind of obviously the bread and butter. We do a lot of FBA, fulfilled by Amazon shipments, shipping our stuff to Amazon. That's obviously a huge part of our business too. But yeah, we're moving a good part of our day.
Yeah, so it sounds like card shops have changed from when it was the 80s and 90s, where you just walked in and you met with one guy and that was it. You bought your card or you bought your packs or whatever, and that was it. Now it's everywhere. You really have to capture just about every outlet to grow your business.
Yeah, and to have a brick and mortar, to have it even worthwhile, I mean, I feel like you have to have so many different irons in the fire, if you will, to make it successful. Outside of the top 1% of card shops, I don't know how you exist without multiple avenues or income streams or being on different platforms. I mean, kudos if you can. That's an amazing feat in this day and age, and I tip my hat to you. But yeah, we're in a lot of different categories, and it's kind of almost a necessity at this point for us.
Right. Jeff, he's probably about 2.5 hours away from me. Are you're between Harrisburg and State College?
We're about 50 miles north of Harrisburg. Yeah, we're very close to Bucknell University.
Yeah, it takes me about 2 hours to get out to Harrisburg, and then it would probably be another. So we're looking probably close to 3 hours to get there. Yep.
Okay. So you've been pretty consistent with the shop now. You said going 9 years or so.
My wife and I were just talking. I'm not even sure how long I've been there, to be completely honest. We were thinking the other day, like, was it 17? Was it 6? Was it 9?
Yeah.
I think I started in 17. So yeah, we're pushing 9 years at this point. Yeah.
So at some point, the hobby was not as active then as it is now, especially with the boom that it took during COVID.
Sure.
When you started seeing that influx of people coming in asking for sports cards or Somebody woke up, got bit in the ass by the Good Idea Fairy. Let's get some sports cards in here. What was the first thing that crossed your mind when that boat came around?
I'll say this I've said it 1,000 times. I'll probably say it 1,000 more. The craziest thing was the Serena Williams rookie card.
Really?
That Net Pro Serena, for whatever reason, that sticks in my head. That Serena, it's literally $1 card. People are paying 250. I'm like, oh my, there's no way this lasts. There's no way this lasts. You know, we're going to do our best to serve our customers, and you know, it's nice to make money. Of course, you know, we're in business after all, but there were things like that. I always point back to that Serena Williams Net Pro card, like. And me, like I said, my friends that are in, we've been in the game for 30 plus years. We're like, there's no way this lasts. We'd have people in the shop and it was like a line of people, like a procession, but they'd all be on their phone, just looking at prices and looking. So I don't even know if it was about the hobby. I think it was like, I can make $30 doing this. I can make $50 if I buy this here and flip it. I can make $50 if I fight someone at Walmart. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much of it was about loving the hobby. And that's kind of where I started, where I'll always be. Again, like I'd be disingenuous to say it's not great to make a living doing this, but I truly have a PC that I won't ever part with. I truly enjoy the hobby, but obviously everyone has a different reason for being in, and I totally understand that. But there was a lot of like, what can I buy this for? Boom. Yeah, they wouldn't even look up. You'd have to try and greet them. People wouldn't even look up at you. They were just in it for the transactional piece of it, which again, hey, we're selling stuff. We can make a transaction, but at the same time, like, what'd you think of the game last night? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, because I've known a lot of people who claim to be collectors, but you know, they look for a W-2 at the end of the year within the hobby. But at least you can honestly say that you've got experience on the business side of it, but it doesn't mix in with your love of collecting, like you was telling us a little while ago before the show started. But now, fast forward to from COVID to now, you know, what are some drastic changes that you've seen, both beneficial or detrimental?
Yeah, I think that initial, if we're talking pricing, just how cards fell off a cliff to a point. They fell off the cliff, and then we've kind of plateaued back a little bit into sanity. But I mean, there's certain blue chip items that every time they sell, it seems like they're breaking a record, like the Pokemon card the other night, for instance. So we still have those moments, but I feel like during COVID and shortly thereafter, it was always a record sale. Now we're kind of settling back into normalcy a little bit. And I just feel like that piece of like singles and buying and record sales and all that, I think what's stayed is the comping and, you know, 80%, 90%, 70% race to the bottom when you're selling something, which I don't like that piece of the hobby. Like we're all in a race to the bottom. Well, what happens when we get to the bottom? Right. Quite honestly, like what happens when your 80% is the next guy's 80% and the next guy's 80%? I mean, at some point, you know, I want to buy. Honestly, if I'm buying a card myself at a show, or if someone throws some stuff on the counter that I want personally, I will pay you for it. I want to keep it. I like it. I want it. Right? I'm not trying to bust you up for 10 extra percent or 5 extra percent. Now, if I'm buying at the store, of course I am. Of course we have to make a few bucks. We have lights to keep on, and you know we have to keep our guys fed and all that good stuff. But I think the comping thing and that sensitivity to pricing stuck through COVID into what we see now. Obviously, the prices have kind of settled a bit, but we still see those random spikes. The other thing is the price of boxes and packs. I'll talk about this till I'm blue in the face, and I say it in the shop daily. How does a kid come in and buy a pack of cards and get in the hobby? Yeah. I don't mean you know, you can have an 87 Tops pack or, you know, 90 Donruss.
We have a little mascot here. He's known as Little Timmy.
I'm not familiar with Little Timmy.
How does Little Timmy go into your store? How does he go into your store with $10 in his hand and he wants a box of Pristine?
You can't get a pack in the store for $10, sadly. I mean, and we go out of our way sometimes just to have options, but then you get to the point, that's not what the kids want. You can have a $2 pack. They don't want
No.
an 18-year-old product that they know they're getting.
You've got these
Greg
kids
Jeffries
that are
card. You know what I mean?
with,
Like, they're just, there has to be some, and I think there used to be a handful of products that kind of filled that need or filled that gap a little bit, but I feel like they're even going by the wayside. So
Big League,
there isn't a good answer right now, honestly.
You had those starter sets like Topps Opening Day, Big League
even. Yeah, there was fun stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
But nowadays, you got these kids walking around with $200 Zion cases. All their cards are in slab mags.
Oh, yeah.
They've got their little phone out and they're trying to work deals with you. You know, whatever happened to, you know, that kid being introduced to the hobby by grandpa, maybe dad, and learning about the hobby the pure way.
Absolutely. And like you said, those are the only young kids you see in the hobby, the ones that have more cash in their pocket than I do somehow, right?
Yeah,
it's true. It's dead ass true. But but the days of, maybe I'm just an old man at this point, but yeah, you can't walk in a shop and get anything of value for $1. When kids come in, I direct them to our singles. I mean, I can give you cards to get you started in the hobby. You like the Phillies? I'll get you 20 Phillies cards. We'll get you started, even get you some fun stuff, get you some mem, maybe get you, a relatively cheap auto. But like, I give cards away sometimes out of our singles. Like, I would rather you have that and not have paid me anything, or at least give you $10 in value than spending $100 and getting $3 back, or trying to spend $500 and getting $60 back. I mean, I don't. It's tough. For me, for a little kid, if you're an adult, you know what you're doing. You know what you're getting into at this point, I think, for the most part. But if we're talking like young kids that just want, we have a kid, Owen, that comes in. He buys Score football. He loves Score football. Luckily, he's in a position he can afford some packs here and there. But yeah, beyond rare instances like that, to buy a current year product is really, really tough for most kids.
Yeah. So from a collector standpoint, you know how it is for us to get product.
Yeah.
What is it like for you guys that actually run a shop? Do y'all embrace the suck like we do?
Yeah, we just talked 2026 Series 1 baseball Topps. We got a great quantity of everything from hobby to megas to jumbos to blasters to hangers to fat packs. We got a wonderful selection. So, and we obviously have Rip Day coming up here Saturday. We're going to do some fun stuff in the shop. So we're kind of gearing up for that. And I do like, speaking of Topps Series 1, I know I'm getting a little off track here, but Topps Series 1, one of the things I think Fanatics has done really well, they've taken a lot of crap, and deservedly so sometimes, right? Obviously, nothing's going to be perfect. But I do like the experiences. We're hearing about the mantle being inserted. Yeah. I like those. I like the experience. Because what do we do as collectors? We want to get as close to the athletes as we can. That's why we collect. That's why you'll find me watching the NBA All-Star game and being like, I don't have a nice Devin Booker rookie. You know what I mean? Like, you just want to be closer to the game, closer to the athlete, closer to greatness. So I think Fanatics and Ruben and that team will do a fantastic job of that. I just hope we can find some pricing that works for the average everyday person that wants to truly be in the hobby for the sake of collecting and just wanting to have a nice little collection.
Those types of hits that you've mentioned, if you want to see one pulled, go to Loop, go to Whatnot, go to Fanatics Live.
Unfortunately, it seems to be the case, right? Yeah.
I mean, there's a guy on YouTube that he does top 10 pulls of the week. Right.
I had a customer tell me about him. I haven't watched him, but I had Dan, my one customer, came in and was telling me about him.
His channel's If Sports Cards. And a lot of the videos that they're pulling that he's showing are from those platforms.
Yeah.
And they're valuing it like at 20K, 30K. I was watching it today, and somebody pulled the debut patch of James Wood only on Fanatics Live. What is it's like they build up these sets and this product, but it's like there has to be some type of strategy that they got going on where breakers get the first wave, or they'll get the first batch and LCSs depending on how many your allocation is, and we're not going to go into that with you. But it's like y'all get sloppy seconds, and then we get whatever you decide to leave us with.
The scraps.
Yeah.
And prior to Fanatics, not speaking to Fanatics, this was pre-Fanatics. It seemed like even from the moment I started the shop, like I'm a card guy, so I'm trying to be in tune with every piece of the business. It seemed like, again, pre-Fanatics, they would dangle this carrot. Like, okay, if Flawless is coming out or NT's coming out, well, you have to buy all the absolute we can jam down your throat, or you have to buy all of this just for the opportunity to buy this other product. But it never equated, it never worked out quite like we had hoped. It never seemed to work out quite like it was promised. So
it's tried like that when Fanatics first took over. Like, I'm pretty sure, because that was a question that we brought up on the show in a while ago. Basically, we all know how crappy Top Sonic was.
Mm-hmm.
They would send you 15 cases of it. You want this good stuff, you got to sell all your Top Sonic.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't sell it. You need to figure it out. Oh, by the way, you cannot sell it to a buddy, or you can't give any allocations to your buddy so that he can sell it. Has that experience ever occurred in your shop?
Yeah, I think, again, we're going back a few years, but we definitely had our bumps and bruises for sure. And, but yeah, there were times, maybe not selling to a buddy, but maybe listing something online that we kind of got smacked on the hand. We shouldn't have listed online, or, things of that nature definitely have happened. And, we got, like I said, we literally would get a call here and there and be like, you don't want to be doing that. It's like, oh shit, all right. We don't want to be doing that, And that's ultimately what you're trying to do. You're trying to stay in the good graces of the people that have the product that you want to sell. That
Big Brother's always watching.
It's that juggling act, or that politics, whatever you want to call it, the game we all have to play, which generally sucks. We all know that. We all know that a lot of times those games suck, but it's, I don't know that I have a good answer. I don't know how that changes. Like I said, I'm hoping, I don't know. I'm a pretty glass half full guy. So I'm hoping there's a way we can figure it out for all of us. I know right before Fanatics took over, everyone's like, oh, what's going to happen? How's it going to go? Monopoly, is it going to be it? And I think it was a little rough initially. I think we're getting settled a little more, but obviously there's a lot of things that still could be figured out. And again, I always come back to the average Joe. Like, that's who I serve at the store. Yeah. I serve the average Joe. I don't have any kids coming in with $100,000 cash. I don't, we're not setting up at the National. Like, I'm serving people in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, surrounding areas, and people that want to be a part of the hobby too. So that's what we do our best to do. Like, so obviously we're online. So of course we're selling to people all over the place, but ultimately the people they're coming up to the shop in my face every day are for my community. So I want to try and do what I can to keep them happy and keep them a part of the hobby too, because they matter.
So how big of an influence you think the hobby has with the way breakers are conducting business?
Oh, I think it's hand in hand at this point. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just, like the right wing, left wing thing. I think it's the same bird, right? I mean, we're kind of hand in hand at this point. And yeah, like I said, I'm serving the average Joe. I mean, I'll have guys come in the shop like, oh, there's this guy on Whatnot who sold $200,000 worth of stuff today. Yeah. And I'm like, again, tip of the cap. That's amazing. That's not what we do. That's not what I don't think any of our particular customers do, but and like you said, we kind of were laughing about, kids in the fanny packs at shows that have, 10 racks in their little fanny pack. And it's like, it's wild. It's truly, if you've been in the hobby for, 10, 20, 30 years, it's definitely a new landscape. And now with Fanatics and wanting shops to look a certain way, that brings a whole nother piece of the puzzle. And on paper, it sounds like a great idea. And I hope it was done with the best intentions. And I'll believe that until there's a reason not to. The dusty dinosaur card shops of the past, there are some in our area. I know some. I enjoy some. I enjoy going there. But
I've got 3 of them.
Yeah. I don't want to say names because I don't want to sound. But if you know where I'm at, you know who I'm talking about, kind of thing. But I enjoy going there. But the honest to God's truth, and I joke about this all the time, there's a shop within about 10 minutes of me, and I swear on my life there are cards that were in the same spot as when I was 12 years old. And you can't tell me otherwise. There's Heartland statues that I swear I wanted when I was 10 that are still there.
Yep.
So there has to be some, we all got to play ball on some level. I'm not saying sell your soul, or anything like that. I'm not saying change your business practices and things like that. There's just got to be a way that we can all
it kind of seems that way.
And have a good time in this hobby, no matter who's running the show or no matter what.
Now, it kind of does seem that way because Fanatics, they came up with a rule book for all shops who want accounts with them to abide by. They want the shop to look a certain way, advertising like you was talking about. How does that, as a shop owner, interfere with how you're envisioning your shop? You've had a certain way that you want your shop to look based off of what you had planned out, but then here comes Fanatics. Well, that's great and all, but we're gonna need you to throw a couple of these posters. You gotta have this out there. You gotta have that out there. Does that kind of put a hindrance on what your vision was looking like?
I just want to add to this before you answer, Tony. I owned a franchise, and basically, when you own a franchise, you basically have to do what the franchisee says. And it comes out of your pocket. It comes, you have to make all the changes. You have to buy everything for the changes. Has it become a franchise if you want to be with Fanatics?
You literally took the words out of my mouth. And here's the thing. You mentioned it too. My family owns a number of Subway locations, and I managed Subway for about 8 years. I managed our one location. And yeah, I mean, if it was April 3rd and it was time for a sign change, you better be putting those translates up and putting those signs on the front windows and all that. So, and if you buy into a franchise and agree to do that, that's one thing. Totally understand. And you know what you're getting into. If someone's dealing with product that you can use, it's so tough. But it definitely feels like a franchise. And maybe that is the answer. If you want to buy in the Fanatics franchise, then you're going to jump through all these hoops. If not, you don't. But then, you're going to lose.
Because basically, if you don't play by the rules, that
you don't get your allocation.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's what they're holding over your head. They're holding the allocation over your head to do the things that they want to do.
Yeah,
they're not charging you X amount of money every month to keep your store open or anything like that, or a percentage of your sales. But they're holding that allocation. They're holding the right to get that product.
Yeah.
Wow, that sucks.
And that's the thing. I mean, I'm a singles guy. I love having showcases full of singles, having 5 rows and 4 rows and 3 rows around the entire damn shop. That's kind of my thing. So again, kind of back to the differentiating yourself a little bit, or kind of expanding your horizons, or having different avenues. I think it's so important to have singles and have things in your shop, have old wax, there's ways to mix it up and switch it up that you can have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I'm a people pleaser, so I'll try to keep everyone happy. But at some point,
there's
you don't
always
want to lose yourself in doing that, or lose your identity in doing that, or it's a tough spot. There's no doubt about it.
They don't say anything about your extra sales or any other place that you go to sell product, because I think before the stream started, you said you had different avenues that you can put your product out to, as far as eBay and Amazon, and you're with Walmart.
Those are kind of
they don't have an issue with that.
What's that? I'm sorry.
They don't have an issue with that.
It depends. Yeah, it totally depends. We sell a ton on eBay as far as boxes and packs. When we've gone through a case of fat packs on eBay one by one over the last couple of days. So I feel like back in the day, again, this was a long time ago, I feel like we had a minor issue, not with Fanatics, with a previous company, if you will. We had an issue there. So we try and mind our P's and Q's, and you got to get creative maybe. And, it is tough. It is tough. And luckily Series 1 has been flying off the shelves, so it hasn't been an issue. But there are a lot of products that, like you said, you're going to collect a little dust. You're going to try and have to find a way to move them. it's a tough spot to be in sometimes. But so far, like I said, Series 1, that's the newest release, at least for us, that we've been just rolling through, and it's been fantastic. And I don't know. I hope we can find a way that makes sense, that we can all
How do you feel about Stadium Club dropping on the 18th?
Yeah, well, technically we got that in the shop today. We do have that in the back, in the back. That did arrive today, I should say. So yeah, we'll get it. Definitely have a couple cases of that ready to go. But yeah, I did crack into a case of that today and saw that there, so that was kind of fun. Auto.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. What do you think about that? What's going on there?
I mean, the problem, and this is not even a Fanatics thing, or even a Panini, or maybe it's just hobby wide. We become accustomed to paying more for less. I think that's an issue for me personally. Like if I'm a collector, like I feel like I'm paying more for less, and I don't like to do that to our customers. I guess I'll put it that way.
But in a way, your hands kind of forced.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not making the product. I didn't put one auto in there.
Because so if you're paying like $1,200 for a case of Series 1, for example, like you said, you got to still make enough money to keep the lights on, keep the guys fed and all that. And where I ended up, we as consumers look at you as the shop owner like, damn, they ripping us off blindly.
Yeah.
But we don't know the big picture behind it.
I can assure you we're not. I know, like we talked a little bit off air. I mean, margins are much, much tighter than I think the average customer walking in might realize. And you might be shocked sometimes to see how thin those margins are.
Yeah.
And again, it's the game we're in. We choose to play it. So it's not a complaint, but it's just reality. I think margins are probably far, far thinner a lot of times than people might realize, for sure.
Yeah. So with baseball only, because that's all we focus on here.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
the Beckett was religious for coming up with a release calendar.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not as proficient with it now as it was then, but when they were, it's like you're expecting let's just say for the sake of argument, because me and Mike, we've been at it a few times, Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary. It's scheduled to be released April 4th. Here we are, April 1st. We get the note, it's been pushed to May. All right, fine. We'll wait till May. Here comes May. Now we got to push it again to August. What are some things in your mind that are causing all these delays or cancellations or rescheduling, if you will?
The thing that I've seen most, and we're going to go back to COVID here talking about this, I think the release calendar was just thrown out the window when we were going through COVID. And that was the excuse then. Again, not by any particular company, just like, the whole industry wide. I feel like, this, it was no disrespect or no offense meant, but I feel like it was an easy excuse that it's COVID. Kind of throw our hands up. And I feel like we never really got back on track. We were seeing 25 product, or I should say maybe 22 product halfway into 23. We're seeing stuff 6 months late, 8 months late.
We're seeing it now.
You're pushing a
25 product coming out.
You think they would have gotten the train back on the rails by now?
Yeah, that was my general thought was like, at some point we haven't been able to catch up. You know what I mean? Like, I used to hand write on a dry erase board like the new releases. I don't even bother doing that anymore. You can't. You used to be able to set your watch, as you said, with Beckett and even a couple of the websites with releases. You could set your watch, and now it's like, man, it's like, who the hell knows? Sometimes it feels like that,
It seemed like they were a little bit more organized when they had more releases coming out.
Isn't that weird? How weird is that? Yeah, that makes no sense.
We don't know what else they're involved with. They picked up basketball. They're picking up football. So they're going to stretch themselves thin. Yeah, and maybe baseball might be, the redheaded stepchild now.
I feel like it is a little, even in our shop. And I'm a huge I grew up on baseball. I'm a huge baseball guy, but in our shop, football is king. Football is probably 75%. We might have, that may have to say it's 70, 15, 15,
Wow.
70 football, 15 baseball, 15 basketball. I mean, we have hockey, we have golf, but I mean, honestly, it probably wouldn't even garner 1%. We just don't. We just don't do it. And I like the big three. I'm a huge fan of baseball, basketball, and football, so I'm fine with that. But yeah, I try and stick up for baseball in our shop sometimes.
Have you bent the knee to TCG?
What's that?
Have you bent the knee and bowed down to TCG?
The owner is deep into Pokemon in the Outer Banks. We have like a shelf or two.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I mean, I eat, sleep, and breathe baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah.
So I would be doing you a disservice if I said I knew Pokemon, or if I knew. We have a kid that he's actually a teacher at a local high school, and he helps us in the summer, and he is a Pokemon guy. So we lean on him. He's a big help. He still stops in the shop. He's a big help, and he kind of got us moving in that direction, even a little bit earlier than the boom we're seeing now. So that was a big help. But yeah, I would be lying if I said, I knew much about TCG, Pokemon, or anything else for that matter.
It's like learning a completely different language.
It really is, and I just don't, it doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in any kind of way. It's just not my thing.
Yeah,
it's huge, so I get it that people are trying to jump in that pool too. I totally understand it, but it's not for me. We do, and people come in to sell singles. I'm like, I'm sorry. I mean, we sell boxes and packs, but I wouldn't, other than being on my phone, I wouldn't know how to buy your singles. You know what I mean? That's just not what I'm into personally, for sure.
Okay.
Do you have a lot of people coming in selling product to you?
I would love if we had about 10 times more people coming in selling to us. We have a few here and there. A couple a week we'll get. Like, I had a good buddy who actually, I was busy, actually had 5 or 6 people at the counter, and we were running around like hair's on fire. And he came in, he's like, hey, here's a stack of cards. Take a look, let me know, and he left them. And there was a mantle or two. There's a couple made an errand here and there. And, we made a deal and we made it happen. I'm like, I'll save you the trip back. What do you want for this stack? I sent him a message and we got it done. Those are dream deals, but unfortunately in our small town, if people are selling, it's a lot of, I had a kid come in the other day. He still had the cards in the hanger boxes he bought them in, wanted me to buy them back. I'm like, dude, unfortunately, I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. I don't think there's anything there I'm going to need today. But thanks.
So a lot of modern stuff that's going on, you guys aren't really doing in your shop. Like, you guys aren't running your own breaks.
No, that's one thing. People are killing us that we haven't, but that's one thing we have not gotten into. We have a couple young customers who are really bright, and they've kind of offered, so we might take them up on that at some point soon. They're kind of doing their own thing, and they're doing really well. So it's something we definitely should be doing. One of my best friends and my cousin, who's in a lot, he lives on Whatnot. Literally, like, he quit a government job to sell on Whatnot. Wow. So he's in a lot, and he does really well. So it's definitely still there. I feel like it's slowed a little bit, just from what I've heard from people that I know that sell on there, but it's definitely an avenue that we should be taking advantage of that we aren't, quite honestly. Yeah.
There's some shenanigans that a lot of people have heard about come through the grapevine that steer them away from breaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I know there was a breaker who ran a free break.
Oh yeah.
Pulled a 101, stole it and sold it, kept it for himself.
The old hidden card trick, or I coughed, or I fell off camera.
He basically came out and said it. Am I going to change somebody else's life, or am I going to change my life? Yeah. And then it was like, whoop, all of the stuff was gone. People were calling him out. There's a lot of, it's still shady. Whatnot is still shady. You got to really know who the breaker is, and, the reputation of them and all that before you go in and buy a break, because you may not see your cards.
That's
it's
an impossible situation to understand how or why you could do that. But yeah, it's not quite the Wild West. I used to call it the Wild West over there, but maybe it's not quite the Wild West, but it might be close depending on who you're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is definitely close. So you mentioned Topps Rip Night coming up on the 21st.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, because this will be the first year where I'm kind of on my own doing it at the shop. Like I said, Jason's at the beach doing his own deal, so I'm excited to kind of get it rolling. We're going to have the packs. We're trying to set up a few small breaks in the meantime, and I'm inviting people to come in. Like, we're talking about buying and selling, bring stuff in. We'll buy, we'll sell you some singles. We'll trade. I'm trying to bring all my guys with Pelican cases in, right, to come in and just have a little fun that day, that night. So yeah, we're trying to do it right, and yeah, hopefully have just a fun environment. I wish we could do that more. I have connections to a lot of athletes, and I was trying to figure something out, but it was too quick of a turnaround to bring anybody I knew in, fly them in or whatever. It was a little much right now, but that's definitely something I plan on doing in the future at the shop with my connections, bringing guys in, making it an experience. Like I said, we all want the experience. That's why we're in it. We want to have that experience. So if we can just do that in our own little shop on our own, we're going to try. And if we get help elsewhere, that would be awesome too. But yeah, I'd like to do that more for the people and get people out. We had people from the city come in the other day. It's like, what do we need? What can we do? What can we? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. We're going to try, but like I said, we're in a small city, little bit of a depressed city, if you will, in certain areas. So we're going to try. We're going to keep trying. We're going to do what we can to brighten up Sun City here, but I don't know. We'll see.
There you go. I like Stick's comment. Watch out for breakers from Horsham, PA. That's me.
So how hard is it for you to differentiate from your love of the hobby as a collector to the business side of it?
For a few years, it was quite hard. Let me put it that way.
Alcoholic and a beer distributor.
My dentist said exactly that.
Really? Wow.
He's a buddy, and he's a sports guy too. And he said that to my wife the first time that she went in for a teeth cleaning one. He's like, he literally said, "Isn't it like an alcoholic work at a liquor shop?" And I said, to a degree. I think it is.
The temptation is there. It's there every day.
But the thing is, what saves me from that every day? Seeing the horror of stuff being open. That's cured me, to be completely honest. And this again isn't a shot at any company. It's been a decade in the making. Just seeing the horror of some of these boxes. It's just been a shit show across the board. I'm just buying the card, and I'm more than happy just to buy the card I want and add it, stock it away over here in the closet or whatever, So, but yeah, that saved me. That's cured me. Let's put it that way. Having the experience of seeing so much stuff open has cured me from wanting to open a ton of stuff myself. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So have you ever found yourself giving hobby advice to somebody while on the clock? Yeah, I try. I think people appreciate that. Obviously, I'm an employee of the shop, so I will try and find my best option for you, or for your best option in our shop for sure. Like I said, I'm not gonna if someone can barely afford a $200 box, I'm not gonna try and sell them one flawless or something. Or if you're looking for Phillies, I'm gonna find you whatever Philly card I can dig out of whatever box. And I just want you to leave having a good experience at our shop. And if you had a good experience, obviously, business 101, there's a better chance you're coming back. Yeah. But yeah, I don't want to take advantage of someone, whether it be selling them a box, buying cards from them at some ridiculous discount. We try and keep it fair, and we're very transparent in our pricing, whether we're buying or selling. And yeah, I just want people to come in and, like I said, we want to keep the lights on, keep doing what we're doing, but we want to be able to sleep at night too. So, there's that line of all right, we need to make some money, but at the same time, these are our people in our community. We want to stay in this community and keep them happy and keep them customers. So yeah, there's that line of kind of demarcation when you're running good business and doing good business practices, or you're kind of being a scumbag. We try and stay on the line of doing good in the community. Yeah, it's a fine line to educate the people, but you also want to make sales. Yeah, absolutely. So, I think I would have more respect for a shop owner if I had a question, to be honest with me, and say, I just buy the single. Yeah. You don't really need to buy this hobby box. Just go buy the single of the card that you want, because that's where I'm at now. I'm just buying the cards that I need to complete my Philly sets back to 1951 in tops. And that's what I'm looking to do. I'm not going out. Well, first of all, it's 2-3 times the amount of buying stuff. Because I remember in 2020 when I got back in, and I was buying hanger boxes, blaster boxes, all kinds of stuff. I mean, hobby boxes were $59. Yeah. How could you go wrong?
and you would get like 2 gold cards and a whole bunch of different stuff out of it. Now, if you're lucky to get a gold, I think we got 1 gold card out of 3 hobby boxes.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. 1 gold card out of 3 hobby boxes. Are you kidding me?
It's
It's ridiculous.
I think it was 2019 certified football, I want to say. We have like a little table right in the center of our shop, and we had Noah and Russell, who are 2 of our better customers. I swear to you, they came in box by box and probably went through 2 or 3 cases of certified because it was just so good. Every box, it was worth it. You know what I mean? Just make it worth it. You don't have to 10x our money on every box, but just make it worth it. And these guys, I mean, it was one of the better products I can remember. Maybe we just got a couple really good cases. I don't know. But like these guys just were so happy sitting there opening 2019 certified. And they did. I mean, not every box wasn't like a home run, but enough to open the next one kind of thing, you know, like either I broke even, made a couple bucks, maybe I lost $10, maybe I could sell. And they loved it. That was one of my favorite experiences at the shop. 2019 certified. They just came in at least once a week and each got 2 or 3 boxes. It's so much fun and it was so worthwhile and such a good experience for them that it was just such a great, probably top 10 moment for me being at the shop. It was just so fun for them. And it was so good to see them do so well and be so happy that it made it worthwhile for sure.
So you mentioned 10X.
I did.
From your perspective, has the hobby been 10X per Michael Rubin?
I guess depending on how you look at it, right? I mean, I don't know if I have all the information to give an educated answer on that, but it appears as though it's growing. Maybe it's not growing in the way that we as hobby shop owners or collectors envision, but bottom line, maybe it is, you know.
Because I mean, he did come up with Fanatics Fest. I'll give him that. First
we just got our poster today. We'll be hanging it tomorrow.
The inaugural was a complete shit show. He admitted it himself. Last year's was better. But what are some other things that they're doing that are for the benefit of the consumer?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. That's a great question. That's the most important question. Like I said, I like the experience factors. I know it's like Willy Wonka's lottery. It's like the golden ticket. I get that. I totally get that. I just hope that average people do truly get the chance to have some of these experiences. Because if that's the case, then that makes me happy for sure for the hobby. But yeah, again, we're going back to pricing because that's what it comes down to. If you can make affordable products for people, you have my
that's all people really want. They just want to be able to afford what the next.
I just want to be able to walk into a card shop and buy a box and not feel like I just spent my entire paycheck and got nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? As long as we can make the hobby valuable for the average person. I think obviously it's becoming like a boutique. It's becoming elite. It's becoming upper echelon. And that's great too. There's a place for all of that. Yeah. But I don't want the average guy to be lost in the shuffle. And I know I keep coming back to that, but like I said, that's our life. That's our business. That's who we deal with. Like, yeah, Logan Paul does this, or Tom Brady does that, and that's awesome. That's great. I believe that is good for the hobby. That attention, experience, whatever you want to call it, I believe if done right is great for the hobby. But like I said, we got to keep the kind of the working class
right. But not only just the working class,
in any part of society, you can't lose the working class. Because
what about little Timmy?
Little Timmy needs some options. Little Timmy needs some more options. There's no doubt about that.
Because right now, we got
about that till the end of time. Yeah,
we got all these influencers, if you will. They're posting all these types of crazy videos. I spent $20,000 at the Dallas Card Show in under 20 minutes. How are you teaching little Timmy about the hobby? What to look for, how to all the ins and outs, collecting 101.
It's tough. I mean, that could be a class, honestly. Like, and really not like the BS surface level stuff. Like, we all know how layered this hobby is, how in depth it is, and how you do have to be an expert in a lot of fields to make it work. And luckily we enjoy it, so it's not like work, but ultimately it's a lot of information. It's a lot of moving parts. It is like its own stock market. So there is definitely skill sets needed to do well or even have fun in the hobby. And I think that is something that is sorely lacking. It is tough. And my son's an athlete, but he just didn't get the collecting gene. And I've wondered many times, like, if he wanted to, obviously we could get him started in the right path, but where do you start? You know, it is a tough thing. Yeah. And obviously it's trial by fire, you know, whether you start with your own $1,000 or $500 or $200 and kind of give it a go. But I mean, you know, one bad decision and that's gone. So, I mean, it's tough. It really is. It's tough. Like I said, I have a daughter. I think maybe that's my best case scenario. My daughter's 6. She's at the shop with me for a few hours a week. She goes to shows with me. She's been to the National. She has her own little collection. She knows what's going on. So I think you either have to kind of start really early and learn with a mentor. But if you're like 18, you're like, yeah, I'm going to get into the hobby. I mean, it's a steep learning curve. And I wouldn't want anybody to go out there and just lose their life savings or lose tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars thinking, you know, they know what they're doing. But I think you have to start early. Honestly, it's almost like being an athlete these days. Like you're playing basketball year round, you know, or whatever it may be. So
what would be some advice you would give a full grown adult if they want to get into the hobby?
Whew. My biggest piece of advice, and I say this all the time, collect what you love, right? That's my biggest thing. Collect what you love. Whatever it is that you're into, I would collect that. That would be my biggest piece of advice.
Definitely.
I'm losing my lighting here.
Okay.
I would say collect what you love. That's like I said, and that can be done in a number of ways. That could be, you know, the super expensive cards. If you're going to PC it, I think you have more room for error, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I've done it myself. Like I've PC'd stuff and I'm like, yeah, I paid full price or maybe I overpaid, but I'm going to keep it for 50 years. Like, does $25 really matter? I didn't get the lowest possible price I could get, or I didn't squeeze this guy to, you know, to the point of tapping out. Like if I want something, I'm going to buy it. Like if I just bought what's the recent card? 55 Topps Koufax. I've wanted one for a while, had one in my previous life, wanted one, got like a PSA 2 or 3. I probably paid about going rate. I don't care. I wanted that card. It's going to be in this safe or this box for 30, 40, maybe 50 years if I'm lucky, right? And odds are it's going to be worth a little more than that by the time I want to get rid of it anyway. So collect what you like. Don't make any huge mistakes. Collect what you like. And you can't really go wrong. You can collect what you like and go buy, like I said, a hanger box or a fat pack. Collect what you like. I think that's a great start. And when you get in there and kind of get your feet wet and understand what's really going on, then you can make some of those, you know, more, I guess, big boy decisions, if you will, right? Like just get in, get your feet wet, understand the business as it is now, because it has changed. It's evolved so much. I have a lot of people that come in and say, hey, I haven't been in a card shop in 20 years. Well, it's going to be a completely different beast. So why don't you kind of get your bearings a little bit? I'll help you in any way I can, but it is different, different than it was, you know, definitely 20, 30 years ago. So
John has a question
what
for
you love,
you.
I guess is my biggest piece of advice, if you will. Just
okay. So like John has a question.
I'm a PC guy all day, every day. So just collect what you like and go from there.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe Enfuego, maybe we should open this up to questions from the chat.
Yeah. Now. So John Cole has a question for you. He wants to know, what is your one true favorite card you have in your collection?
He asks me too many questions each week. Next.
All right, somebody else type that in.
No, I'm teasing. What was the question?
He wants to know, what is your one true favorite card you have in your PC?
Oh, I put my cell phone blast? All right, fine. 84-85 Star Jordan, BGS 7, graded it myself.
Nice.
Okay.
Close second is the 85 Nike Jordan 9.5 Beckett. I'm a Jordan guy through and through. So I like to have a representation of all of his stuff in my collection. Luckily, I have a few nice ones.
So what is the true rookie? The 85 Fleer or the 84 Star?
Ooh, sentiment's definitely changing on that one the last couple of years, last couple of days.
Yeah.
But again, I'm a rookie purist for the longest time. Again, I was a Beckett disciple. So 86, 87 Fleer was the RC, 84, 85 was the XRC, right? The extended rookie card. But if you're just picking one, I don't know how you don't go 84, 85. It's officially licensed. It wasn't pack pulled. I get it. It was a team baggie. I know there's all the different hoops to jump through to make it an official rookie card. Trust me, I know. But man, oh man, I don't know how you don't say 84, 85 Star right now. So I think sentiment's shifting on that one big time, and that's why you're seeing the crazy price increase.
Oh, it's kind of like comparing the 51 Bowman and the 52 Topps Manu.
I think that's clear, though. 51 Bowman's definitely the rookie. 52 obviously is far more significant. We all know that. But yeah, 51's the rook, I think. And I don't know. Like I said, the sentiment was for the longest time that it was the XRC, which is kind of like a Beckett created tagline. But like I said, if you got to go 84, 85 at this point. And the fact that there were like 35 Jordans before that 86 Fleer came out, as iconic as that is, and as much as I love that card, man, I would say 1 and 1A. I would give them both an RC tag, but I totally understand the shift in sentiment over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we all know no two LCSs are created equal or they run the same. What makes yours, in your opinion, stand out from your, I guess you want to call it your competition in your nearby community?
Oh, man, these are good ones. I don't know. I think I bring a good bit to the table that shops in the area may not. With my experience in the hobby, me being bleeding sports cards, I don't know that everyone at every shop does that. My level of honesty, I don't know that everyone at every shop does that. I'm not saying they don't. I don't know them that well, but I think the variety, you can bring your kids or your significant other, your sister, your wife, your grandmother in. We can probably find something for her too in one of the different wings of the store. I know the other shops don't offer quite the options we do. We have RC cars. We have rows of RC cars. We have our own RC community. So there's that. But if you're looking for cards in our shop, I am your guy. And I think I can help you with pretty much anything that may come across our showcase. So and I'm more than happy to do so. I love it. Like I said, I live, sleep, eat, and breathe it. So I'm here for that purpose. So I would stack us up with anybody for sure.
Awesome. Mike, your wheels are turning. I see them turning.
My wheels are done. My wheels are done. I think everything that I brought up has been answered, and I've interjected a few things that were answered. I'm the only thing about Tony is I'm very jealous because he seems very happy at what he's doing for a living. So kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you. I try. I have a great family too.
That is awesome.
You might have seen my daughter running around. She's watching something on TV back there. She keeps it fun and light for sure. And, like they always say, like, whatever your issues were at work that day, you come home and see your kiddo, and it's not quite as important as it was 5 minutes ago. So it never is. I try and keep that in mind too, that, like I said, we're only selling sports cards and toys. So there's a lot more important jobs out there and a lot of people frying a lot bigger fish than I do. So I'm happy to do my part, but I also know that I'm pretty lucky to do what I do every day. So
yeah, you are. You are.
All right. So last thing, if you had a black belt in the art of collecting, okay, if you was the Miyagi of collecting,
I don't know if you can see it. It's not a very good visual, but all these pictures on my back wall are me with MMA fighters, so I'm familiar. What do you got for me?
What would be some advice that you would give prospect collectors, current collectors, or individuals inquiring about potentially getting into the hobby?
Whew. I'd kind of go back to the collect what you like. You can't go wrong. I think we talked about that on my pod a little while ago. It's just, maybe that's just because that's my perspective. Like if I'm buying something I want and I got it, that's end game. I'm happy, right? I don't care if it goes up or down in value. I bought it because I like it. And I think that's not just sports cards. I think that's anything. Just find the things that you find happiness in and surround yourself with them. And, and the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You're always, being collectors, it's in our nature, it's in our blood. We're always going to want that next thing, that other card that we don't have. But a lot of times we just have to be happy with what we have. And if we stopped and smelled the roses, we probably would be far more happier with what we have if we really stopped and like, wow, I picked this up last year. Oh, I still have that. Like I'll go through, I don't have a ton of cards, but I'll go through my collection every once in a while and still forget something I had. I'm like, oh crap, I have the, DAC National Treasures RP. I forgot I got that. Like, well, that's a great card. So I think we're always looking to the next thing, always looking for that next little piece of happiness when we have a lot of it around us already. So if it's cards, just buy what makes you happy. Stay within your budget, buy what makes you happy. If you turn on the TV and you're watching the Pirates and you like Paul Skeens, by all means, we can get you a lot of Paul Skeens cards. And I think that is one good thing right now with the hobby. You can have the $1 million Skeens, debut patch, or you can have $1 Paul Skeens Topps rookie and everything in between. Yeah. So I think that is a good piece of the hobby, that there are options for everybody. And that's why I kind of push people towards singles. Like, who do you like? We probably have them, and it's probably cheaper than buying the pack or box. Like, so I would just surround myself with who and what I like, and just kind of immerse myself in it, and
you increase your chances of what you're
looking for.
Do your
due diligence and kind of go from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, is it fair to say that you think the hobby's in a good place right now?
I think so. Yeah. I think a lot of times we're, myself included, we're all like looking like, oh, well, this is not like, again, let's appreciate what is good about the hobby, right? Of course it could be better. Of course, there are a lot of things that maybe keep us up at night. There are things that bother me, no doubt about it. And we talk about a handful of them here too. Like, let's focus on the positive sometimes too. But I think it's in a good place. I'm hoping some of the Fanatics things still continue to work themselves out and make it a better place for sure. Things we already touched on, but I think we're in a good place. I think we're in a good place when we're talking about being in the zeitgeist. Like, we're in the sports cards are still in the national conversation. They're still in, they're still in mainstream news. And I think ultimately that those rising tides raises all boats. I think that is helpful, as long as we're not leaving the people, falling off the back of the boat drowning. Like, let's really raise the tide of all these boats and grow the hobby for all of us. And I think there's a way to do that. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm not saying that at all, but I think there's a way to do that. And I hope that's kind of the direction we're moving in.
Awesome. So a question came in. Do you happen to ship to the 52nd state?
We offer free shipping. So we do, but probably not at a profit, but we do.
Okay. So that's pretty much all that I have. Mike, you got any other last words of wisdom?
I'm good. I had a blast just basically, listening to perspective of a shop owner.
I hope I brought some insight. I don't know. You guys did this a lot, so.
You did, but it was kind of everything that we were kind of speculating anyway, from hearing stories on YouTube and stuff like that, but just to actually hear it from the person, it kind of like tied everything together.
Yeah, because I mean, I've had guests on here that gave us fairy tales. I've had some that gave us horror stories. At least you were transparent enough to give us both.
Right. Yeah, I try and keep it balanced, and that's kind of where I try and just my day to day. Like, there's going to be things, an email I get that throws you off for a minute. There's going to be super highs and super lows some days, but you got to live somewhere in the middle. You can't be too high or too low. And like, I coach my daughters, everything, softball, football, basketball. And I told the kids, if they get in a little bit of a mood, I'm like, all right, if you lost 10 cents of your dollar, how happy would you be? Would you let it, would you throw away the other 90 cents or just, kind of, right? Like, you can have you're going to let a bad moment ruin your entire 24-hour day.
Yeah.
If you lost your 10 cents, would you throw the 90 cents away too? Like, so I try and live my day inside the shop and outside the shop like that too. Like, we're always going to have things that pop up that don't go our way, that frustrate us. And she's shooting right there. We are no different. It happens all day, every day, right? Even between like the owner and employees, customers. I mean, it's just human nature that these things happen. But you know, if you had a buck and you lost 10 cents, you're not going to throw your 90 cents away, right? You're going to do that. And so you deal with these issues. You know, we're all adults. So you deal with the issues and move on and hope. And I feel like when I come home and I feel like I did my part at our little shop to make it better or keep our head above water. So, you know, that's kind of my mindset most days. Not all days, most days we try.
So,
right? We try.
We hear about your shop almost every time John Cole is on here, you know, and he has nothing but good things to say about it. So
that's good. He always complains to me. I'd rather have him complain to me than tell you guys the good stuff, right?
Exactly.
But we do appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to, you know, give us your perspective of everything. Definitely going to probably bring you back on later on.
Yeah.
And anything else, Mike?
No, that's all I got. Appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with us for an hour. So about an hour.
For everybody in the chat, do appreciate everybody hanging out with us.
Jam back there before bedtime, before we get her off to bed.
We'll catch everybody next week on the same time, same channel.
Yep.
Have a good night, everyone.